Welcome to this visual analysis, where we're breaking down the absolute madness that was the summer of 2026. This was the tournament where the stakes were literally absolute. I mean, there was absolutely no second place. The ultimate rule of the game was incredibly simple. The winner takes all. Just imagine the scene for a second. The entire globe is watching. Heart rates are absolutely spiking, and literally everything is on the line. We're about to map out the journey of this unbelievable tournament, moving from utter chaos and pure comedy straight into the most epic, high-stakes finale the sport has seen in a decade. Okay, let's dive into this, because this right here is the fundamental question that completely defined the tournament. I mean, when we vastly expand the playing field, how do you filter out all that noise to find the one true champion? In a landscape where literally every team on the planet seems to have a ticket, the pressure to survive the gauntlet and take it all home reaches an absolute fever pitch. We're going to look at exactly how this massive, chaotic experiment played out on the ground.
48. That number is exactly where the madness begins. FIFA looked at the biggest sporting event on Earth and essentially said, you know what this needs? Way more people. So 48 national teams landed across the US, Mexico, and Canada. They all showed up dreaming of eternal glory, hoping to be that one team that takes it all. But the reality? Well, most of them just ended up praying they wouldn't become a viral punchline on TikTok. And as we found out, a lot of them absolutely became the punchline.
So let's look at the very first major tragedy that completely shattered everyone's brackets. Picture this. We have the almighty Germany arriving with their world-renowned, flawless tactical engineering. But waiting for them, a smiling South American goalkeeper from Paraguay. In a massive, record-scratch kind of shock in the round of 32, Paraguay actually sent the Germans packing. Back in Berlin, they're probably still trying to process how their impeccable engineering was totally dismantled by a guy who simply smiled while denying their dreams. Honestly, it turns out penalties just aren't a German specialty anymore.
And then, of course, we have the host nation. The United States basically promised us that 2026 would be this ultimate soccer revolution. But fast forward to the round of 16, and that so-called revolution collided directly with Belgium. The result? A devastating 1-4 defeat. Instead of a revolution, the hosts found themselves sitting on the sidelines eating consolatory Belgian waffles while the rest of the world marched on without them. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer, wild unpredictability of this tournament. We all know Brazil's legendary Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game, right? But against Norway in the round of 16, that beautiful game completely morphed into Jogo Triste, the sad game. Norway unceremoniously handed Brazil their bags and sent them packing early. It was an epic failure that proved once and for all that past legacy means absolutely nothing when the winner truly takes all.
All right, moving into Section 1, the Meme Hall of Fame, focusing on culture and comedy.
Because look, while a match only lasts 90 minutes, World Cup memes, those are eternal. Remember that historic upset we just talked about where Norway eliminated Brazil? Well, it birthed this absolutely incredible phenomenon. Imagine 80,000 fans sitting down in the stands of a New Jersey stadium, simultaneously rowing like they're in a massive Viking longship. It was unbelievable. But it didn't even stop in the stadium. Literally by the very next day, people were doing this Viking row on the New York subway, in their office cubicles, and even while just waiting in line at the supermarket. The idea spread like wildfire. Now, what's really interesting here is how fans managed to reframe reality. So the Mexican national team was eliminated, finishing in a respectable but definitely non-winning 9th place overall. So what did the fans do? They literally flooded the Angel of Independence in Mexico City to celebrate. The logic is just amazing. When you look at the global statistical standings in a spreadsheet, Mexico actually finished above massive titans like Brazil, Germany, and the Netherlands. As one viral tweet perfectly captured the vibe, we didn't win the cup, but in Excel, we are kings. They literally claimed a moral championship purely through spreadsheet mathematics. You gotta love it. And honestly, we can't talk about the comedy of this tournament without looking at the sidelines. The sheer pressure of a winner-takes-all environment created what's been called the panic playbooks. We're talking about professional managers frantically trying to explain tactical shifts using flying water bottles. But the absolute crown jewel of this panic, that had to be the French manager during the semifinals. As Lamine Yamal and Mikel Oyarzabal were just completely dismantling the French defense, the coach was quite literally seen staring up at the sky, seemingly begging for some kind of divine intervention to save his team. Absolute comedy gold. So that brings us to Section 2, the weekend schedule, where we are setting the final stage. Now, the chaotic noise is finally gone, and the massive field has been brutally reduced to a single definitive weekend. Let's break this down. On one hand, you have the third-place match down in Miami, France against England.
The grim reality of this match. It's your classic, we really don't want to be here, but FIFA is forcing us to play scenario. It's just 90 minutes of wounded pride played out in the oppressive, sweltering Florida heat. But then you look at the main event up in Newark, New Jersey, Spain versus Argentina. This isn't just a final. This is being billed as the absolute clash of the century. The narrative of this final is straight out of a Hollywood script. Representing Europe is Spain, and they are essentially a perfect high-speed tactical computer. We're talking about a midfield that plays football like it's chess from the year 3000, passing the ball so incredibly fast it literally makes the TV cameras dizzy. And facing them, the defending champions, Argentina. They completely embody this South American suffering mystique. They are a team that almost doesn't seem to know how to win unless they are suffering, praying, and pushing literally everyone watching to the absolute brink of a heart attack. Let's move on and see how this builds into the official prediction. According to the script we're following, Spain is going to come out and act exactly like that tactical computer. They're predicted to hold a staggering 70% of the possession. They will completely dominate the ball and create this total illusion that the game is firmly theirs, methodically suffocating Argentina's rhythm.
And the timeline of this predicted final? It is an absolute roller coaster. Picture 82,000 souls in MetLife Stadium and over 1 billion people watching on television. It all starts with an early goal from Spain's Oyarzabal, making everyone believe the European tactical machine has already won. But, football defies logic. It absolutely thrives on drama. In the second half, through sheer grit and drive, Argentina manages to force a tie. The match drags agonizingly into extra time. The entire world is biting their nails. And then, minute 117, the prediction calls for absolute unadulterated chaos on the pitch.
So the crucial point is the final predicted score. Argentina 2, Spain 1, decided in the dying embers of extra time. The script argues this dirty, dramatic, totally legendary back-to-back championship happens for 2 main reasons. First, the invisible scriptwriter of the sport simply won't pass up the chance to give Lionel Messi his ultimate Hollywood ending, lifting the cup in New York before retiring to play padel forever. And second, because their goalkeeper, Dibu Martinez, will inevitably turn those final minutes into the most sublime, unhinged psychological spectacle on the planet. He secures the ultimate reality. The winner takes all. This tournament has given us the heat, it's given us the eternal memes, and it has absolutely given us the best football of the decade. We've seen how 48 hopeful teams were whittled down to a single, chaotic, beautiful climax. So as the ball gets ready to roll for this historic finale, I'll leave you with one final question to ponder. Is your cardiologist truly ready for tomorrow?